D as in Delta was never referenced in front of the jury. It was never published. It was never entered. It was one that we had that we chose not to use. So
Okay.
the omission of 14D as in Delta is intentional, and it was in no way referenced.
Okay. Mr. Davis, you comfortable with what's going back to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss before I give the final instructions?
No, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and get them up.
All rise.
All right, please come to rest. Good afternoon, jury. In just a few moments, you will be taken to the jury room by our court deputy, Mr. Applewhite. The very first thing that you should do is to choose a foreperson who will preside over your deliberations. I want to repeat that so you can hear it again. The very first thing that you should do is choose a foreperson who will preside over your deliberations. The foreperson should see to it that your discussions are carried on in an organized way and that everyone has had a fair chance to be heard. It is also the foreperson's job to sign and date the verdict form when all of you have agreed on a verdict, and to bring the verdict form to the courtroom when you return. And you will let your Mr. Applewhite, the bailiff, know if you have completed and come to a verdict, and he will bring you back in the courtroom. During deliberations, jurors must communicate about the case only with one another and only when all jurors are present in the jury room. If a juror goes to the restroom, the deliberation should stop until the juror returns. You are not to communicate with any person outside the jury about this case. Until you have reached a verdict, you must not talk about this case in person or through telephone, writing, or electronic communication, such as a blog, Twitter, email, text message, or any other means. Do not contact anyone to assist you during these deliberations. These communication rules apply until I discharge you at the end of this case. If you become aware of any violation of these instructions or any other instruction I have given in this case, you must tell me by giving a note to our bailiff. Many of you have cell phones, tablets, laptops, or other electronic devices with you here today. The rules that we are under do not allow you to bring your phones or any of those devices into the jury room. You will leave those devices with the bailiff upon entering the jury room, and I will ensure that those devices remain untouched and safely kept while you deliberate. Again, any phones or electronic devices are not allowed in the jury room. If you need to communicate with me, send a note through the court deputy, Mr. Applewhite. If you have voted, do not disclose the actual vote in the note. If you have a question, I will talk with the attorneys before I answer, so it may take some time. You may continue your deliberations while you wait for my answer. I will answer any questions, if I can, in writing or orally here in open court. During the trial, items were received into evidence as exhibits. You may examine whatever exhibits you think will help you in your deliberations. All exhibits, many of them are over here to my right, will be sent into the jury room with you when you begin your deliberations. If you desire to unseal an otherwise sealed piece of evidence, please provide that request in writing to the court before unsealing that piece of evidence. If you're going to need a knife or scissors to open something, let me know before you open it. We'll provide a means for you to do that. In closing, let me remind you that it is important that you follow the law spelled out in these instructions in deciding your verdict. There are no other laws that apply to this case. Even if you do not like the laws that must be applied, you must use them. For more than 2 centuries, we have lived by the Constitution and the law. No juror has the right to violate rules that we all share. Mr. Williams and Mr. Davis, at this time, is it appropriate to release our alternates?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
A few of you in our jury for the last week have been alternates, and you are about to be released. When you are released, if you will leave your juror badge and your notepad in your chair, I will collect those, and I will personally destroy your notes, and nobody will ever read your notes. The jurors who will have an opportunity to be released at this time are as follows. Juror number 32, Odom. Juror number 39, Lee. And juror number 43, Burnham. We appreciate your time and attention to this matter. If you will leave your juror badges and your notepads in your chair, we will give you a moment to collect any belongings that you may have in the juror room. You will not be allowed to deliberate with the other jurors. You can certainly check in and we're done. We'll be glad to tell you what happened. But at this time, you are dismissed to go get your things. Thank you for your attention to this case. Give them a second. As they are released, there were several videos that were shown in this case. You have been provided means in the jury room to watch any videos that you would like to watch. If you need assistance in playing those videos or some technical assistance, please let Mr. Applewhite know, and we will make sure that you have the assistance that you need to make sure that those videos are running properly. Let's go ahead and take that back to the jury room. Mr. Applewhite, are they released? Are they gone? Or are they still in there? I don't want to put anything in there till they're gone. Okay. The alternates have been dismissed. We're going to put the exhibits back in the jury room. I am handing the clerk as well a copy of the final jury instructions for the jury, as well as the verdict form. Again, the bottom of the verdict form needs to be dated and signed by the foreperson, and the foreperson will also print their name. Mr. Clerk, if you'll take that and put that on the table in the jury room really quickly. If you need some, and we usually check your waters at the end of the day. If y'all need additional bottled water, please let Mr. Applewhite know, and we'll make sure you have something to drink. Anything else, Mr. Williams or Mr. Davis, before we release our jury?
No, Judge.
You will give Mr. Applewhite your cell phones and electronic devices as you enter immediately before you begin any deliberations. Once he has all of your electronic devices, at that point in time, you will begin the process of picking a foreman and proceeding on. You can and should take your notepads in the jury room with you at this time.
All rise. Tablets.
You can come to rest in the courtroom. Thank you. Just make sure he's taken care of. Just step over there with him. Make sure he's got any additional hands he needs to collect those electronic devices. Okay, thank you. All right, it is 2:41 on May the 17th. State anything else that we need to discuss while the jury begins their deliberations?
No, Judge.
Mr. Davis? If you decide to leave the courthouse, just make sure you leave either a bailiff or the clerk a phone number where we can get you and you can get back here within 10 minutes. We'll regroup. If we haven't heard anything late in the afternoon, we'll regroup and kind of figure out where we're at from there, okay? All right, we're in recess. Thank you.